Come January 1st, there will be a new municipal sales tax in the city of Milwaukee. It will be a 2% increase, and that comes after the Milwaukee Common Council approved this sales tax increase earlier in the week. So what we want to talk about is basically putting this into perspective for viewers about what this means. Now, 2% on every $100 you spent, it would be roughly a $2 increase. But when you do the math, right now the state already has a 5% statewide sales tax. You add that with a 2%, you're at 7%. If the county enacts their sales tax increase, then Milwaukeeans are going to be hit with a 7.9% sales tax. So what's taxed and what's not, right? I mean, people are now questioning, well, how much could certain things go up? What will be taxed are things like clothing, computer, furniture, repair services, cable TV, and if you go to a ball game or, another amusement event. Now, what's exempt are things like prescription drugs. If you go to the grocery store, your groceries are not going to be taxed, but there's some exemptions if you get soft drinks and dietary supplements. Medical equipment is exempt, as well as medical records. But now the look ahead is, when will the Milwaukee Common Council act? We're hearing now July 27th, the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors, they're going to vote on July 27th. But looking further into it, there's now going to be a possible legal challenge that we heard from Milwaukee alders and county officials, which is targeting this whole package, which is they had the authority to raise their sales tax because it was part of a deal to increase money to local governments known as shared revenue. But there were provisions that target Milwaukee, like limiting control of the Fire Police Commission, requiring Milwaukee Public Schools to have school resources officers. So that's now what a lot of the attention is going to be towards, JR.
So you can game out that lawsuit. You can argue that it's inappropriate to single out Milwaukee for these things. Two, there's a home rule provision in state law that violates that, being able to set your own standards essentially. But the other thing, too, is there's possibly some workarounds with these things. For example, the streetcar. You're limited in using property taxes for the streetcar. Well, what about federal money? What about this big increase in state aid through shared revenue? Are there workarounds for these things that the city can use to keep providing the service that it does without meeting these restrictions for Republicans? And oh, by the way, Republicans aren't happy about the prospect of a lawsuit because they feel like, look, the mayor and county executive, they're part of discussions. They did a trade-off. They got the sales tax option in exchange for these provisions because Republicans don't like how Milwaukee's been run for a long time. They want to see changes. They can't win elections in Milwaukee. They can change state law in their minds to force these changes. So chafing them a little bit, Madison, and maybe it sours the kind of outlook for Milwaukee again if something like this comes up.
Right, and looking ahead to next week as well, on Tuesday we have a special election that impacts several areas of our viewing area, and it's going to be for the Assembly District for the 24th seat, which was now vacant after then Representative Dan Knodel got elected to the state Senate. So this district includes a portion of Washington, Ozaukee, and Waukesha counties, and who will be facing off is Republican Paul Melitik, an Ozaukee County Supervisor, and Democrat Bob Tatterson. JR, what are some of the things that you're looking for in the race?
Well, who turns out? It's a July race. We've had a Supreme Court contest this spring that was high profile. This district also is part of the special election for the Senate seat. There's an election just past November. Like, people are kind of tired. It's also like their attention's elsewhere. On paper, it should be competitive. Tatterson ran last fall against Dan Knodel, got less than 40% of the vote. So, again, on paper, it should be an easy Republican win. But low turnout races, who's motivated to turn out? And oh, by the way, Tatterson outraised Melitik 3-1 up through July 3rd. Now, Melitik's gotten some late help from Republicans in that to level the playing field, but really this race is Assembly Democrats doing doors and some Republicans doing doors, trying to get people to turn out to vote. Who wins that contest? And with the nature of the district, it should lean toward a Republican. The bigger question going forward is, will the seat be competitive next fall? The reason I ask that is because we might get a lawsuit, or likely get a lawsuit, challenging maps from the state Supreme Court. They could withdraw this seat. If it's a more competitive seat, how does that impact next fall? And if Melitik gets through with the just okay fundraising, he has to step it up dramatically next year to be competitive in a competitive seat.
All right, that's something to watch for. That will do it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us.